Ladies and gentlemen, here I stand in front of a classic traditional tattoo parlor. This man here has helped me out more times than anybody else on my show. Pat here, he owns this tattoo shop here at 567 South Main Street. If you need any kind of tattoos done, come see Big Pat. He does great work. I've seen it myself. He's also got another guy here named Teron who does great work also. Like I said, 567 South Main Street. Come see this man, Big Pat.
Good evening, Gulf Coast independent wrestling fans. Welcome to the Front Row Fanatics. I'm the Gargoyle, and I'm here with every woman's dream, Mr. Fantasy. We're getting ready to do a little bit of discussion about the upcoming SWA Southern Wrestling Alliance Wrestling Extravaganza, Gulf Coast WrestleMania, happening April 28th, 2012 at the Crestview National Guard Armory in Crestview, Florida. With that being said, I shall turn it over to my esteemed guest, or I'm the guest anyway, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Fantasy.
You doing all right today, Go-Girl?
Yes, sir.
And thanks for having me on here, man. I appreciate y'all doing this every year and coming out and just kind of promoting the show for me. I really appreciate it. We try to put on one hell of a show for everybody. Just do it once a year, but that once a year, I really we try to put on the best we can put on for y'all. So.
And you do an excellent job every year. Draw large crowds, pretty much the largest crowds in the area, hands down. And it's all due to hard work, diligence, and preparation that you and your associates put into making this show the quality, entertaining show that it is. So we're fortunate and proud to be a part and help in whatever small way that we can. So, thanks for letting us be a part of it.
No problem. And, I said, my whole goal when I started this 5 years ago was just to run a quality show and use the best guys in the area that we had. I wasn't afraid to bring in different people from different promotions. That didn't bother me at all. Then I got this crazy idea that I'm going to bring in somebody every year that nobody's ever had on the Gulf Coast. And so far, I've been pretty fortunate and able to do that for since I started with Brad hadn't been here in a very long time. I brought Brad back, and then I brought Janetti in, and then I brought in the New Age Outlaws, and now I got Hurricane Helms coming in. So it's kind of getting harder and harder every year to get somebody else to come in that's never been here, and damn sure more expensive.
Oh, I hear you.
But that's what we try to do. We try to do something that nobody else does. So.
And once again, you do an excellent job of it, man. You, as you said, the interpromotional ties that you have no fear of, bringing in different guys, and you don't sweat it, and it allows the fans in our area to see the best from all the promotions, along with the top name stars, as you mentioned before, putting in the main event. And it's always a great show, always slam packed. I mean, if you go to one show around here a year, this is the one that you need to go to. I mean, crowd is always huge. There's good food, good quality wrestling. I mean, like I said, it's well done from start to finish. You're not going to get a better deal for the money that you're going to pay for a top quality wrestling show like you're going to see the SWA put on here at the end of the month. I'm really, really psyched about it. And I guess at this point we're going to go over the card a little bit and thank sponsors or whatever you care to talk about. And,
yeah, I definitely want to thank my sponsors. This year we had for the first time ever, I had a sponsor step up, and they wanted to be what we call a corporate sponsor. Of course, when it comes to the word corporate sponsor, it comes with a pretty hefty price tag. And if you notice, it says Azteca Mexican Restaurant Presents.
Right.
And Azteca Mexican Restaurant, I've known the people that own that place for a real long time, and I kind of come up with this idea, because I wanted to, bring in Hurricane Helms, which I knew would be, just be a little bit more to do this. And I talked to them, and they weren't hesitant about it. They jumped right on the opportunity.
Nice.
So definitely want to thank Azteca Mexican Restaurant first and foremost. And we'll get to other sponsors later on in the show. I do want to kind of mention a few here and there as we go along and be sure to get everybody in there. But definitely mention them first and foremost, because I said they stepped up in a big way this year, and I just want to tell Colleen, thank you very much, Colleen. We appreciate the sponsorship.
Well, how's the food there? Since I don't live in Crestview, and I like some Mexican food, man.
It's really good Mexican food. They've just Colleen's actually a new owner now for about a year. She just bought the place. It's been here for a while. I knew the people before that owned it, and she bought it. And she went in there and she revamped the whole thing. She's new carpet, new paintings, new everything, and they've changed their menu, and it's really good food. It's I don't think it's the best Mexican food in Crestview. We have 4 Mexican restaurants. You believe that? Little Crestview has 4 Mexican restaurants. I don't know we have that many Mexicans in town. But you know, it is what it is, man. But I'm telling you, they have really good food. They are located off of 85. If you're going north 85, just at the old movie theater, they're in that little shopping center. Is where they're located at. So y'all go check them out before the show. You get you some food, if you will, and please support our sponsors.
Sweet. So if you're in the Crestview area, check out Azteca Mexican Restaurant to get your Mexican food on. So with that being said, what part of the card do you want to talk about first?
Well, you know, I guess what everybody's interested in is the main event. You know, I went out and I want to give this guy a plug that helped me get this guy, and he's really good friends with him, from what I understand. But Eddie Gilchrist, everybody knows him as Eddie G in the area. He helped me with this booking. He got a hold of Shane Helms, as everybody knows him as Hurricane Helms, and he helped this go through. So I do want to thank Eddie for that. He did a really good job of negotiating stuff. He kind of passed word through me and him, and I've actually got to talk to Shane since then. But Eddie's handling everything for him. Eddie's offered to pick him up from the airport and take him to the airport and all that good stuff. So I just want to thank Eddie, and Eddie will be on the card. Him and Shane are I don't know if they're associates, I guess is what you would call them.
Right.
I want to thank him. But the main event's going to be the Hurricane. Shane Helms. He's a former WWE. Well, I guess he's a former WCW Cruiserweight champion.
Tag team
champion there too. And then he went to the WWE and became Hurricane Helms. And he was a former Cruiserweight champion in the WWE and a former WWE Tag Team champion. I think his some of his greater moments to me is when him and The Rock will go back and forth with each other during the little, backstage vignettes they did.
Absolutely.
Those are pretty much priceless. They went back and forth at each other. But we got him coming in, the Hurricane, Shane Helms, and I got him going. He's going to be facing what I consider one of the top 5 guys in the area, in my opinion, in the Sin City Saint, Scotty Ray's. Eddie G will be in Scotty Ray's corner. I guess we'll find what kind of friends him and Helms really are.
I hear you.
But I think Scotty deserves this opportunity. Scotty's done a couple things, with a couple smaller promotions. Been on a couple pay-per-views with Dragon Gate, and and he's had a couple tryouts and stuff like that. But I don't think Scotty's ever had an opportunity to actually be in a ring with a superstar or a guy the caliber of Shane Helms. But I do believe Scotty can handle himself. Scotty's pretty smooth in the ring, so we'll see what Scotty's made of.
And he was recently down at the 01 camp down in Orlando, run by the Sheik for 01 wrestling. So yeah, he's branching out, getting more exposure to, and getting to headline the main event against a guy the caliber of Shane Helms, whose credentials speak for themselves, is a great opportunity. And it's one of the things I like best that you do here, that you give guys from our area a chance to step in the ring with high quality wrestlers that people know. Guys, like you said, the New Age Outlaws, their credentials speak for themselves. Shane Helms, Marty Jannetty, all those guys have held belts, major belts in major promotions, and you give our guys a chance to wrestle with them, and I just think that's awesome.
That's what I want to do. Let's take an example for Colby, BTY. He's thanked me. I was the first guy to ever put him in the ring with Road Dogg. He had never worked anybody up to that point. He told me, that of any caliber, of any status,
right.
And he really thanked me for that opportunity. I think certain guys deserve an opportunity. Every guy, no, not every guy deserves an opportunity, because not every guy has the ability to get into the ring with a Road Dogg or Billy Gunn or Shane Helms or Marty Jannetty or Brad Armstrong. These guys have been places, done things.
Absolutely.
And, you don't want to put them in there with somebody that may hurt them. You know what I mean? So
I understand that fully, and there are a lot of those around here in this area too. And I don't want to be bagging on anybody, but you've got the cream of the crop, and then you've got the rest. And also, you don't want to ruin your reputation as a promoter by putting them in there with somebody who's not qualified. They might have all the heart and the desire in the world to want to put up a match with one of these guys, but they just don't have the experience and the ability. So, props to you for looking out for not only the local guys, but for your main event superstars that you're bringing in to the show. So,
I'm really looking forward to this match. I put it as a main event for a reason, because I think that's what it is. It's the main event on the card. I guess we'll move on down there. The next thing I talk about is everybody. It's kind of funny. Bob Armstrong's been doing this for 50, going on 51 years. And when I hand these flyers out right here, when I hand these out to everybody, that the first thing they do is go, Bob Armstrong, he's still wrestling? You know, and I tell them, I said, let me tell you, I said, that man may be in better shape than most of the guys in the area at 71 years old.
He's in better shape than I am. I can attest to that.
You know, and as long as I can have Bob on my show, Bob will be on my show every year. Because that's what I think about Bob Armstrong. We got his son Steve coming in this time. You know, usually Road Dogg's on the show every year, but
right.
as we know, Road Dogg has moved on back to the WWE. He is doing his backstage agent thing now.
Right.
That's something he always wanted to do. You know, so he's kind of, you know, he's where he wants to be, and I'm proud of him. We'd love to have Scotty come in, but as we all know, Scotty's counting 3 and, you know, cashing checks up there in the WWE. And you know, we miss having him around. As a matter of fact, we texted the other day, and he said, he texted me good luck on my big show coming up, and then I said, well, I told him thank you, and he texted me back and goes, you know, if I wasn't up here, I'd definitely be there. So, you know, and when you have guys like that saying, hey, they want to be on your show too,
right.
You know, it makes you feel good. You know what I mean? But we got Bob and Steve coming in, and they're going to be taking on the big man Scarface Waylon Barley, and another guy that's a pretty good technical wrestler, your personal good friend.
That's right.
David Prime.
My close personal friend.
They'll have Danny Jack in their corner. You know, so that'd be a pretty good, you know, old school type match.
Absolutely.
You know, Bob will get out there and do his dance and wiggle and chop somebody, and we'll see what happens from there.
And I'm telling you, and people they say, you know, like you said, 71 years old, he's still wrestling. Last year, I took a chop from that 71-year-old man, and let me tell you, 71 years old, he can still lay the goods to you, buddy, because he slapped me down and I fell on the floor. And I got shot by a Hall of Famer, baby, so don't underestimate the bullet by any means.
Yeah, definitely, don't ever forget that. He is a WWE Hall of Famer. That's to say enough about him. You know, that's
right.
Nothing else should be said of him. He's a WWE, and that man is more proud of that ring. Other than his kids being born and marrying his wife, I think that may be the most proud moment he's ever had.
And that's a big giant old ring too, because he let me look at it after he chopped
He let me. I got to wear it and take a picture with it and all kinds of stuff. So you know, Bob's a good man, and you know, if anybody wants to come out and see, you know, I hope Bob wrestles for another 10 years. But you know, we just say Bob may call it quits before we know it. You know, I hope that's not true, but you never know. And maybe, you know, come out and see Bob when you can, because you know, seeing Bob is in itself is a grand event. That's how I feel about it anyway.
Absolutely. You don't get to see people of that stature in the wrestling business all the time. So any opportunity you get to see somebody of that stature, you need to take advantage of it.
So next, we're going to go with the. You know, I've always wanted to have a women's match on the card, but I was always real skeptical of the women in the area. A couple girls I can mention, and she already hates me, so I don't really care. It's Hellcat. Y'all know who Hellcat is.
Yes.
She was a very good manager. She wasn't a very good worker, a wrestler, or however you want to put it. The other girl, she was Hellcat's friend. What's her name?
That was on your first show, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think
that's the only one I haven't been to.
But anyways, you know, they just said they couldn't pull off a full match, so I never wanted to put women in the ring. They could pull off, you know, that didn't.
Absolutely.
But after discussing with some people in the area and seeing what's going on, you know, I went out and got Mackenzie York, and I got Becky Kennedy, and they're going to have a match titled the Queen of the Gulf Coast match. They seem to be the two hottest female valet/wrestlers in the area. So we're going to do a Queen of the Gulf Coast match, and the winner, you know, gets crowned queen, and the other one has to just, you know, suck it up and take it.
That's right. Grovel, bow down to the queen. And both of these young women I want to put out there are starting to travel a lot more. They're getting out of the area and honing their abilities. I know Mackenzie York, she travels a lot. Becky's just now starting to get out there and travel and wrestle with some higher caliber talent too. And she recently went on a road trip with Pain Lord and myself to check out some action in Orlando and make some contacts. And she watched Santana Garrett and Christina Von Airy, two people that have been on TV, AAA, TNA and stuff before. And, you know, so she's looking at expanding her horizons too. And you can only get better by leaving the area and working a higher quality of opponent if you're serious about this business. So I think you did a good job picking these two, because they've both come a long, long way from when they first started wrestling in this area. And as a longtime fan, I've seen the development along with some of these other guys. So, you know, a nice touch you add there to the card, which normally you haven't, and as you said, for the reasons why. And I think this will be a pretty exciting match, so I'm looking forward to it. Plus, got two cute looking women there wrestling the ring. I mean, you can't go wrong.
Right. Move on down the card some more. Next two guys, they started a little series of promos on YouTube, and I kind of get the feeling they may not like each other. You know, seriously not like each other. Talking about Carlos D'Angelo and Nick Virtue. They both contacted me and wanted to do this match, and I was kind of iffy at it at first just because of the risk you take for doing a Falls Count Anywhere match. But I said, you know, I told them, I said, look, I trust you guys. You know, as long as y'all keep it, you know, safe for my audience, I don't care what you do to each other.
Right.
So we'll have a Falls Count Anywhere, the feature of Carlos D'Angelo versus Nick Virtue. And like I said, this kind of goes back a couple years ago. I think Nick kind of put Carlos out for a while on the shelf, and whenever Carlos came back, you know, Nick had been it was on the shelf, so they never really got to finish what they started. So, like I said, I'm not afraid to, you know, bring people in from different promotions. And I said, if you want to do a Falls Count Anywhere match, hell, why not do it on the WrestleMania of the Gulf Coast?
Absolutely. Tie up the loose ends of this feud that they've had for a couple of years. They've had some epic battles against each other over the past couple of years. So, and I gotta admit, I was surprised to see that you had the Falls Count Anywhere match on the card, simply for the fact that you know that Armory is going to be packed. And they go to brawling out in the audience and stuff, and these two guys are not afraid to let it all hang out. So, but I definitely think you're going to see some blood spilled and some pain dished out between these two guys, hopefully putting an end to the feud that they've had going for the last couple of years.
You know, if you will go to my Facebook page and then click on the events that I put that wrestling event out there, there's a video on there already from Nick Virtue talking about Carlos D'Angelo. And then, from what I understand, Carlos was going to have a rebuttal real soon that's going to be put up there, so y'all can kind of get caught up on what the feud's about if you don't know about it. If you don't really travel and watch a whole lot of shows on the weekend like Gargoyle and Cheech do, you know, this would be a good way to catch up and see what's going on. But you kind of get, if you watch the video, you'll see the disdain that they do have for each other.
Oh yeah, and we've also started sharing that video on our personal pages and also on the Front Row Fanatics and the GulfCoastWrestling.com sites also. So between his Facebook, our Facebook, Gulf Coast Wrestling, Front Row Fanatics, the videos there, start checking out the hype that's leading up to this match to end the feud.
The next match, I was looking for something that has not been done here that I can recall. I've been wrestling for 13 years in the area. Now you've seen them, you know, as managers, or you've seen them work, you know, other guys. But I said, you know, I want a midget match. That's what I want. I want a midget match. So I went out and I got two of the better ones. You know, I did some scouting and made some phone calls and talked to some people, and they told me who they would recommend. You know, and they said that, you know, the Micro Wrestling Federation, which I think Hulk Hogan is the one who started, and they travel the country. These guys travel every during the week. They're on the road. So I went out and got the Beast, who I understand is about 4'6" and 220 pounds.
Whoa!
But I've watched video on him. He can actually move really well in the ring. He's very fluid. And then he's going to take on Pitbull, who's a local guy that once again started out as the Little Bandit, I believe, but he's kind of, you know, went out and in the same way he's went out and took his horizon and expanded it as much as he can. He's worked for the Pintside Brawlers, which was on TV. He's working for the Micro Federation. You know, so he's kind of made himself as something, you know, and changed his gimmick a little bit. But I honestly think this match may be what draws the biggest crowd I've had, because when you put somebody on the crowd on the thing, they say midgets. You know what I mean? And they come watch it. You know, Shane Helmsley's gonna draw people, Bob's gonna draw people, and I think this may be my biggest third draw is this midget match we got going on here. So
yeah, and the Pitbull, he's a tough guy too. We've watched him around here too, and Cheech can testify. He's got some serious punch in that low blow action that he's got, as he was a recipient of one of those from the evil little Pitbull there, you know. So once again, here you're throwing something else out on the card that you don't see around here. So, you know, high quality talent, Hall of Famers, women matches, midget matches. I mean, you've got a veritable smorgasbord of stuff. Once again, showing why your show is the Gulf Coast WrestleMania with the variety of talent, styles of matches and everything going on. You can't lose. You're getting a little bit of everything a wrestling fan could want. So, I mean...
we'll go to another match that's listed on here, and it's my match. It'll be me and Big Dog Ryan Mills. And wish you luck, buddy. Hope everything goes well with you.
Prayers to you, Ryan.
Versus Dan Delicious. Now, Dan Delicious is a rare commodity anymore. He doesn't come around and do shows as Dan Delicious. I did make a phone call to him and said, look, I want you and me one more time, but I want the Dan Delicious. And he said, no problem. If it's for the WrestleMania of the Gulf Coast, I'll don the Dan Delicious pink tights again.
Sweet.
And we'll have Dan Delicious versus Mr. Fantasy one more time. So that's who I'll be facing at the show. I'm looking forward to it. I know all his little tricks in the book, so I don't think I'll be falling for none of those this time. And Dan, I just want you to know straight up that it's a fight. It's not a wrestling match. It's a fight this time.
That's right. Mr. Fantasy is going to lay the smackdown on you, Dan Delicious. And don't underestimate him either, despite the appearance and the gimmick. He is double tough, and he's got all the wrestling skills that you can ask for in a guy to put on this card. And like I said, you've had several matches and dealings with him before, so you're no stranger. And this is going to be an epic match also.
There's one match that's not listed on here. We'll go over some guys that are going to be there, and then I'll go over the last match. Some guys are also going to be appearing on the card. It's going to be Pretty Boy Donnie B, who everybody knows him. He's really one of the high flyers from around the area. We're going to have the last King of Wrestling, Doug Pitt, on the show. We will have Mike Steele, he's never been on one of my shows before.
Nope.
Zane Epic Stevens will be there also. That's a kid that I watched kind of grow myself. I remember he was horrible. And Zane, you know what I'm talking about. You were horrible. But he's hit the weight room. He's really got himself looking the part.
Got serious about his craft.
Right. I watched him work back in December, and he's really come a long way. He's definitely the kid that started. He kind of reminds me of Colby. Colby started, and Colby was horrible too. And Colby worked on it, and I think Zane's kind of following the same footsteps. We're going to have Justin Overstreet on the show. He's never been on the card before, so neither has Zane Stevens or Mike Steele. Cali Kidd's never been on the card before. I'll have him there. The one match I don't have listed on here, just because I ran out of room, doing the flyer that I think it's kind of become a staple of my show every year. And the fans really seem to eat it up. I got a three-way dance. It's going to be Rex Andrews, who's also new to the area, who was trained by Booker T,
right,
who can really go. It's going to be Joe Milo, and it's going to be BTY Colby Godwin in a three-way dance. And that will kick the show off. So
nice.
Get there early, because the seats will go fast, and you don't want to come in late and miss that match. As you know, those three will go give all they got. They'll leave nothing out there, and and following that match is going to be, something that's going to be on somebody else's hands, but they're going to have to hold up to follow once they follow that match.
That's right. You got three talented guys with three different styles too, and I've seen Colby and Joe Milo bleed buckets, so they're not afraid of the physicality. And like you said, Rex Andrews, another talented guy along the coast here, who he travels quite a bit also. And like Scotty Ray's, he was down there at that 0-1 training camp in Orlando, ran by the sheep. So you're bringing in lots of people here that are actually serious about their craft, and that's the one thing that separates, the chaff from the wheat, so to speak, or whatever. There's not a dud on this card whatsoever. So, a mixture of up-and-coming young guys, Hall of Famers, veterans along the Gulf Coast. What more can you ask for? I sat down and I really thought about this card a lot before I ever started making phone calls. And, this will be my 8th year running the show. I started in 2005. And every year has been a good card. But after sitting down and getting this card filled out, I honestly believe, now this is my best show ever, because I've had some really good ones. That's still to be determined. Absolutely.
At the end of it. But I do believe this will be my most entertaining show that I've ever put on.
I'm liking it. And the other thing I'm really happy about too is you're giving some of these young up and coming guys a chance to get on here and get on this card and show their skills. A lot of people might not know some of them, but you know, like you said, we travel a lot, so we're familiar with everybody on the card. But you know, like I said, you've got a solid mixture all the way from top to bottom. I mean, and the fans are in a no-lose situation here. I mean, it's that simple, no lose. I guarantee you can mark my words, you will not be disappointed if you come to this show. I've been coming for the last couple years, and I have not been disappointed at all, whatsoever. You know, it's well worth the trip, well worth the admission price, which is $8 for 12 and up, $10 for 12 and up, $8 6 to 11, and 5 and under are free with a paid adult. So, you know, there are tickets on sale now at various places, which I'm sure he could tell you. I don't know, but I know he's pre-selling some tickets. And you won't be disappointed, you know. There's some good food last year, too. So, I mean, good food, good wrestling, good crowd, great time. What more can you ask for?
Various places is my Facebook account, and I'll get up with you and we can sell you some tickets.
I hear you.
I do want to mention, you see, you know, up-and-comers on the show. For any up-and-comer or any guys been, you know, working for several years, at 4 o'clock on Saturday, April 28th, Shane Helms, I've talked to him about this, and he is going to host a seminar. I have 15 spots. I have 5 spots available now. I have 10 filled, 5 spots left. They're going pretty fast. It's $25 for the seminar, and you get to learn an hour and a half. You get to sit under the learning tree of Shane Helms. I think this is an opportunity for anybody in the area. You do not have to be booked for the show to be part of the seminar. If you pay your $25, that will also get you in the show that night. If you want to stick around, you know, and watch the show, you don't have to, but I'm saying if you do, you know, I'm not going to recharge you to re-enter the building after you pay $25 to be a part of this seminar. I have 10 spots filled. I got 5 spots left. So, you know, hit me up on Facebook, or I prefer if you email me at SWA1823@yahoo.com. That's SWA1823@yahoo.com. Please name the email seminar and tell me you want to be on the seminar. I try to run a pretty tight ship. You will not be let in the building unless you've paid $25 before you enter the building, because you will pay the money, because all the money goes to Shane. You know, we're working out a deal here, and he's gonna get some of the money, and you know, we're gonna work out on it that way. You know, so, but I think it's a good learning experience for anybody. I already signed up. I have, you know, speaking of veteran guys, I have Colby Godwin signed up. He wants to learn. I have T.A. Jones is signed up. Some of the newer guys that I really don't know, you know, Mike Fresca's coming. I got Rex Andrews coming. Bruce Marshall's coming. Some of the guys slip my mind right now. Brian Cage, I think, is one of them. I do believe Scotty Rays wants to learn a little bit. You know.
So if you're serious about your craft, here's an excellent opportunity presented to you by the SWA to learn from a guy whose credentials speak for themselves. If you're serious about being a professional wrestler, here's one of the rare opportunities you're going to get around here to learn from a guy who's been world champion, been on TV, been on pay-per-view, been around the world and done that. So if I was you, I would strongly take advantage of this opportunity to attend this seminar with Shane Helms.
So, you know, I think it's a really good opportunity for anybody that wants to learn. I said, it don't matter if you're a new up-and-comer, new to the business, or if you've been doing it for 10 years. You know, you can learn something new every time, you know, from somebody different. I said, you know, Colby Godwin, I keep referring to him because he's done some things that a lot of people haven't done in this area. And he's been to ROH, you know, he's had 2 world title matches, but you know, he was one of the first ones to get up with me and want to sit under the learning tree of Shane Helms and learn from him and see what he might can, you know, get it. I'm sure, you know, Scotty's doing it just so maybe he can get a few pointers and he'll have a better chance in the match.
Sure, nothing wrong with that. That's called being smart, you know. I mean,
girls are welcome as guys. You know, neither Becky nor Mackenzie have got up with me yet. Not limited to Becky or Mackenzie. I'm just using those 2 as girls that I know be at the show. But I mean, they won't, you know. But girls and guys are welcome. I said, you do not have to be booked for this show. The $25 you pay covers your entry fee to the show, plus your seminar. It's an hour and a half long. It'll be from 4 o'clock to 5:30, Saturday, the day of the show. It's an opportunity that you may never get again. So
very true, very true. I got a question I wanted to say. Who's going to be doing ring announcing this year?
Ring announcing. I've spoken with Rob Brown. But I don't know that Rob will be there yet. He won't. I knew he will not be doing the ring announcing. I can tell you he will not be doing the ring announcing. That doesn't mean he may not show up. And me and Rob, we've had our feud in the past. He got the better of me last year with the help of a man that was about 6'7" and 250 pounds, and he did not announce a fat on him.
I hear you. Don't be scared, Rob. Don't be scared. I've been talking some smack to him on the show, and he was bragging about how undefeated wrestling record, defeating Mr. Fantasy, and I told him you'd slap the taste out of his mouth, or he could come get some of the gargoyle if he wants to beat the FSU out of him,
Rob's invited to the show.
Come on, Rob.
But I just promise you, you're invited. That doesn't mean that you're wanted there. So it ain't even. It sounds to me like Gargoyle wants you more than I do anymore.
That's right.
So,
we of the Gator Nation don't appreciate you.
I know that Gargoyle has asked the SWA several times for a Rob Brown versus Gargoyle death match. I'm here to officially say that's not going to happen at the show, Gargoyle.
Well, I could try.
But that doesn't mean you can't get him in the parking lot or
Sweet.
in the bathroom. So Rob Brown, I know you'll see this because I know you'll watch it. So the challenge has been laid out there for you. Street fight with Gargoyle at the SWA show if you want to take it on. So
good thing I got a bail bondsman on call, being with the jail right down the street from the armory there, because that's where we'll both go if I catch you in the parking lot, Rob Brown.
Well, let's go through these sponsors if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
I do want to, and I say a few. There's a list of them down there as you can see. That's one thing that people. Before I do that, I do want to pat myself on the back some. I've always been known to do that. People that seems to get on people's nerves a little bit, but it never bothered me. People, and I think Cheech. I know you're sitting behind the camera there, and you don't want to be on camera because you're ugly. But that's when he wears a mask too, so don't worry.
Yeah. I'm not embarrassed to admit it.
So, but I saw you put on the wrestling, the GulfCoastWrestling.com web message board, which is also it's located. Is it wrestling 911wrestling.com? Is that, did I have that correct?
Yes.
911wrestling.com. Well, I'm thinking about that. These posters right here. The gentleman by the name of Snowman, who runs 911wrestling.com, made these posters. I printed them out, but I mean, he took the time to put the posters together, and I do want to thank you directly, Snowman, for that. He was not asked. He took it upon himself to start making a poster. He started with Bob and Steve on one, right. Becky and Mackenzie, and then he added, BTY, and then he kind of moved it around, and we ended up with this. We got Becky on the poster, Hall of Famer Bob Armstrong and Steve Armstrong on the poster, Scotty Ray's on the poster, the notorious Eddie G on the poster. No induction necessary on
That's
the poster.
right.
BTY Kobe Gal on the poster, and of course, the reason that I'm sure most people will show up, the former WWE superstar Hurricane Helms is on the poster. Two of these posters will be for auction at the show. Last year we sold one poster at the show, and it had Road Dogg and Billy Gunn and Bob on it. I remember having them behind us back here.
Yes, we do.
But they will be an auction for the posters. So if you want one of these posters, all you gotta do is bid on it. But back to the sponsors. I'm sorry I got on that tirade there about that.
No problem.
I go and
you're the best damn part of the show. Yeah. It's all about you, baby.
I go out and people say, well, how do you do this and how do you do that? It's called relentlessness. I'm relentless with these sponsors. I'm relentless with passing out my flyers, and in this list I have 51 sponsors that sponsored the show this year. There's 51 people I went out and talked to that said, yeah, no problem. We'll help you. All it does is, guys, is go out and ask.
It's called promoting. And
all you got to do, and if they say no, it's not personal. Don't take it personal. They say no because they can't do it, not because they don't want to help you most of the time. But how many times I've been told no? A hell of a lot more times than I've ever been told yes. But most of these sponsors are guys that I've had with me for anywhere from 8 years to from 5 to 8 years. It depends. Some I've added, some I've lost over the years. But they always seem to want to help. But we'll go over the sponsors now. A Classic Traditional Tattoo Parlor. Y'all know who that is. Big Pat. Shout out to Big Pat. I'll be seeing some ink work for him soon.
Yeah, we got to get together and do that and get some ink. I'm due for some ink.
But Adams Automotive, very good place to get your car worked on. Alpha and Omega Cleaning Service. Personal friend of mine does a really good job of cleaning houses. Ann's Painting, Arnett Septic, Baker Metalworks, Bear Creek Incorporated, BK Motors, Blocker Bail Bonds. There's a bail bond that's for you right there. Breakaway Charters. They're located in Destin. You can go out on fishing charters. Apparently that's where your buddy Calvin is. He couldn't be here. He was too out. Fishing is more important than seeing Mr. Fantasy, apparently, Calvin.
Ooh, zing!
Brooks Logging. You better have your ass at the show regardless of what the fishing's like. You understand? Brooks Logging, Cars by George, Earl Seafood, Elite Trailer Manufacturing Incorporated, Forever Victorian Antique Mall, Florida Septic, Fowler Septic, Full Moon Tanning, Gary's Auto Recycling Incorporated, Gator Lawn Care, GOB LLC, Gordon Martial Arts, Helms Construction, Henley Concrete and Masonry, Hothead Salon, Hub City Pond, Huff Homes, Jacob Lock Construction Incorporated, Lard Hill Grill, Mike Dean Construction, Myrick House Movers, Nathan D. Boyles for County Commissioner, very good guy. He's running for County Commissioner. OC's Towing and Recovery 1 LLC, Okaloosa Signs, Precision Auto Body of Crestview LLC, Salon Chic, Scott Hicks Incorporated, Scrappy Leather Sports Bar. It's a new sports bar here in town. Go there after the show. They're gonna have I think they have a couple drink specials for you. It's a little sports bar they've opened up. It's a pretty nice little place. Signs Galore. They have donated one of the signs that hangs out in front of the Armory. Strickland Tire Company of Baker LLC. Two different businesses. Two brothers. I know them both. And they both gave me money. Don't you love that kind of stuff?
Hell yeah.
Summer Signs actually printed these things off for me. They also have the banner, which if y'all come by Walmart to come on the interstate,
yes, we did.
Y'all should have saw the banner
yes, we
at
did.
Walmart. Summer Signs donated that banner. So they printed all these flyers. They printed all these posters here. Sunshine Style Salon, Marty Nopes. You got a bail bond and a lawyer now, so if you get in a fight with Rob Brown, you're good to go.
Sweet,
okay?
I'm covered.
Taco Town of Baker and the Holloway Agency. Those are the list of my sponsors that I have right now, or that I have on the show. There should be, I don't say right now, there should be. I do want to mention one that is not on the list. They came on late, but they will be on the banner at the show. Danco Towing. He does really, he's a very fair guy when it comes to your towing and stuff. He jumped on late. He, came to me and wanted to know if I needed some help. I told him yes, and also Eddie's Auto Sales. They jumped on late also. They didn't make the flyer because it was already printed, but they will be on the banners at the show. So please, guys, if you're in this area or when you come to the show from that area, try to support our sponsors the best you can. If you need your vehicle towed, call Danco. If you need some mechanic work for some reason, go see Adams Automotive. If you're hungry, see Azteca. I think that's the only restaurant I got on here really is Azteca this time.
Earl Seafood.
Earl Seafood, yes, Earl Seafood. If you want good oysters, I'm telling you, best oysters in Crestview. Go see Earl's. Just the sponsors make this show possible so you guys can come out and enjoy the show. And the only way we can keep going is if we keep supporting our sponsors. So, get out there, support your sponsors. Tell them Mr. Fantasy sent you. They'll probably say, who the hell is that? But just tell them I sent you anyways, okay?
And with the economy being the way it is, keep your business local too, so that's always good for the local area. So as Mr. Fantasy said, support these sponsors and the local businesses in the Crestview area.
So, that about covers the whole card, guys. Once again, we got Hurricane Helms versus Scotty Rays. I think it's going to be an excellent match. Dan Delicious versus Mr. Fantasy. Like I said, it's going to be a fight. The WWE Hall of Famer Bullet Bob Armstrong and his son Steve Armstrong versus Scarface Waylon Barley and your personal close friend David Prime with Dandy Jack in their corner. The Queen of the Gulf Coast match, Mackenzie York versus Becky Kennedy. The Falls Canadian match, the feature Carlos D'Angelo versus Nick Virtue. I think he's the former center, is that correct? The former center Nick Virtue, yes, I apologize. The midget match, the Micro Wrestling Federation Superstars, the Beast, 4'6", 220 pounds versus Pitbull. That should be interesting because how that comes out there. The three-way match between Joe Milo, Rex Andrews, and BTY Colby Godwin. And then we also have on the card Pretty Boy Donnie B. The Last King of Wrestling, Doug Pitt, Mike Steele, Zane Epic Stevens, Justin Overstreet, Cali Kidd, and maybe a few surprises. You never know what's happening at SWA show.
That's true.
Once again, the admission is $10, 12 and up, $8 for 6 to 11, and kids 5 and under free. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. Bell time is 8 o'clock. If you want to get pre-sale tickets, you can hit me up on my Facebook. It's Heath Childs is the name of my Facebook. Or you can hit me up on Twitter. It's at Heath Childs on Twitter. My email address is swa1823@yahoo.com. You can also hit me up there. You see me in town, you can stop me. I always got tickets with me. Of course, the car is always subject to change because you never know what can happen from day-to-day basis. But I hope everybody's able to show up and make the card. I said I think you'll enjoy the card. The things I have planned for the show, I think are going to come off real well. You can't take your family out for cheaper than what you can get in the wrestling show. I promise you that. Concessions aren't expensive at all. They're fairly reasonable. I think the most expensive thing is $3 over there, and that's for some nachos.
Right.
Maybe mistaken that price. Maybe cheaper than that. I don't know. The Mrs. Fantasy runs that. Because when it comes to money, she's all about it.
That's right.
So,
gotta keep mama happy.
I said I think that kind of covers everything, guys. Gargle, you got anything you need to add or want to add, or you always got something to say? So.
I just want to urge and encourage all Gulf Coast independent or wrestling fans in general. Come out, check out the WrestleMania of the Gulf Coast. SWA, Crestview National Guard Armory. I guarantee you won't be sorry. What more can I say? The card speaks for itself. This man's efforts speak for itself in putting this show together for the last 8 years. It's consistently gotten bigger and better every year. New talent. Like he says, he does it only once a year, but he does it right. And that's the key ingredient. Does it right. So be there, support the SWA.
One final thing, and I guess we can wrap this thing up. But there will be an announcement at the show. That's all I'll say about that. Is there will be an announcement at the show that night. So be there for the announcement. It could be big news for you. It could be no news at all for you. But there will be an announcement at the show that night. We'll see how that announcement goes when it gets here.
Things that make you go.
I just want to thank Cheech for coming out and sitting behind the camera and filming this thing. And I want to thank Gargoyle for coming out, and sitting in front of the camera and going over the show with me. I'm really excited. I've been excited in the past about a show. I was really excited last year because I got to work with the New Age Outlaws personally. I got to get into the ring and work them guys. But I'm really excited about this show just for the pure entertainment value that I think it's going to bring. This one may be hard to top. I say that every year, but after looking at the card and understanding what I have on there from the Falls Anywhere, the midget match, the women match, the three-way, the entertainment value, this may be my best show ever, and it's going to be very hard to top.
I heard that. So once again, fans, here we go. SWA, Crestview, National Guard Army, Crestview, Florida, April 28th, 2012. Doors open at 6:30. Bell time, 8 o'clock. Be there.
And remember this, I'm not the whole show. I'm not the big show. Regardless of what show I'm on, I will always be the best damn part of the show.
Right there, baby. The back of the shirt says it all, man. It says it all. And with that being said, we're going to wrap this up, and we'll see you in the front row.